So I've got a couple upgrades done on the car. First one, battery covers, especially this one. And I do have a cable right here that keeps this, so the battery does not move at all. Coming down here, I actually have a sandwich plate in between the oil filter, and this is a larger oil filter than normal. That's actually a Ford F-150 oil filter, and this is the lines coming off that plate, and it comes to right here, oil cooler. So it actually gets drawn in by the fans too, and that sandwich plate is supposed to have a thermostatic switch that's at 180 degrees. It'll actually start cooling it off. So hopefully that works out pretty good. None of the lines leaked, but I actually did have an oil leak when I got back from my test drive around the block. And it was right here. You see the cleaner parts right here, and then this is the darker parts. Used to have oil right there last night, and I had some oil right here, and a little bit of oil right here. It was actually coming from right around here, and so you can see the front of the valve cover was inside the valley for the chain. I had missed this bolt for the gasket, so it was folded in. Luckily it didn't get eaten up or anything like that, and I just had to loosen the bolts up and put that gasket back, and I had some oil to clean up. And you can see it's just a little wet down there. So this is where I ran the lines for the oil cooler, and that is like the power steering rack right there and bushing. So that's the oil cooler done. It worked okay, I guess. I had oil pressure, so that worked. But I was having this issue with clunking in the rear. I do have a welded diff that I just rebuilt, and I set the backlash on. That's my ratio. And as you can see right here, I actually have a brand new bushing, and that is a solid front diff bushing I got from MSAZ, and I do have my anti-vibration back on there as well, so it makes that little sandwich on that cross member. These are polyurethane bushings in here inside of this, and so the car is really tight. And I have the sway bar bushings. All my U-joints are good. Like I said, this is a welded diff, so I would press on the gas and I'd release, and I have this clunk, gas clunk, release clunk. So any type of like fine movement of the throttle, you'd feel it coming on and off. So I did this, and I got well, that was fine, and that still was there. But also, whenever I do really hard accelerate and deceleration really hard, that had a really nasty drive shaft clearance noise. And that drive shaft clearance noise was horrible. That, I believe, got rid of it and made this much crisper car. And the movement is a lot crispier and sharper. That's nice, and actually it's not too loud at all. But I still had this movement clunking back and forth, and it's about an eighth inch of play. I felt like it wasn't much, but you could feel it just a little bit. And it is actually, these right here go up into the body. There's one right there and one right here. It's just a flat piece of metal. You can see this is a flat piece of metal, and if you look up, there's a bolt right there, a bolt right there, and another bolt that's right there. And that was loose. Down here was tight, but up there was just about finger tight. You know, one bolt was kind of tight, and the other bolt was just finger tight. So you gotta remember to check those. And on the other side, it was that as well. I believe one bolt on each side was tight enough to be tight, and then the other bolt was just a little too loose for comfort. So I think you know, with both sides being just a little loose, that could have had something to do with my play. And also, I know people do had structure from this to that, and they had a brace, and I believe some people do forward and backward bracing as well. And I think that might be the ticket as well to stiffening up this structure. I was looking into the Technotoy tuning brace, and that would be nice, but for $1,000 for something that's already working okay, I guess, just not performance, it's kind of tough to justify. I did also was looking for the clunk. I shook my exhaust and I had a little clunking, and it was actually right here was touching the rubber hanger, and so it have a little bit of clunking right there, and then there was a big clunk over here hitting the differential. See how shallow and close that gets? You can see it gets very close to that differential. All I had to do was tighten this one up right here, this exhaust hanger on the top. That helped it tighten up, and the one up here, tighten it up just a little bit, and we're good to go. The one last issue I have with the car is I'm getting way too much steering road feel. And so this is the drive shaft, and this is a new polyurethane bushing. I believe this is too stiff, and I actually need to get just the regular OEM polyurethane bushing, because it is vibrating my steering wheel like crazy. So I think taking that back to stock would be the best option. Just because everything else is pretty tight in the car, but it is a fairly stock car as well, and I want that comfort and feel of not vibrating my hands to death on any type of road trip.